Thank you so much, Mr. Lewis, for joining us here on our team. So my first question to you would be, what drives Norwegians and other Europeans to leave their homes for the Syrian front lines?
Well, I think there are many reasons. The conflict in Syria itself attracts a lot of attention and emotion from people. Muslims especially, of course, seeing this as a part of an emotional issue for themselves. But I think much of the underlying motivation also comes from a marginalization and to some extent a distance that they have to the societies in which they find themselves in Western Europe. So Syria is in that sense the trigger. But in general, they are finding it difficult to adapt to a modern, Western, secular European society.
Well, how significant of a terror threat to these people pose when they return home?
I don't think we should exaggerate the threat they actually pose. I mean, it's still a relatively small number of people. The Western security services are following them quite closely. And I think also that the communities they come from do report on their activities to authorities to some extent. But it is worrying that they, when they are in Syria, might get into and will come into contact with people of a very radical ideology, and also with a network that is very closely aligned with the ideology of al-Qaeda, which has a very anti-Western agenda, and which also have both the history and the means and the capacity and the knowledge to actually carry out attacks. So they get connected into networks that they wouldn't otherwise have in countries like Norway.
Are the authorities able to track and monitor every single European who comes home from the war?
No, they are not. I mean, this varies from country to country, but often these communities are difficult to penetrate. I mean, the security services are very much composed of ethnic Europeans, while these communities are very much immigrant. So I think most of the security service have a difficulty penetrating them. So no, every single individual are not monitored. But this varies from country to country. But it's very...
Okay, well, given the difficulties that exist that you just mentioned to us, is there any way at all for European governments to stop this outflow of volunteers to Syria?
No, I mean, realistically, within the capacities that exist and the legal framework that exists, it cannot be completely stopped. Some countries have tried to make it illegal to join this fight in Syria, but it's very difficult to gather evidence and to prosecute. So they try to, have cooperation among the various intelligence services also in the region to try to stop at least some of them and monitoring their activity, but much of this activity goes, I think, outside of the radar of the intelligence services.
All right, live from Oslo, that was security analyst Helge Lewis talking to us here on our team International. Now,